What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be diving into my initial reaction / takeaways for the Detroit Lions 31-24 loss against the Green Bay Packers last night. Also, a little bit of an update on Stafford's health. I was actually planning to do this video yesterday. Of course, I was planning to put this video out yesterday, but it was probably like 11, maybe 11:30 at night, and it was only 55% uploaded. So I was like, all right, forget it. We'll do it tomorrow. I mean, I didn't want to put a video out at 1 o'clock in the morning. I just thought that would make no sense. So I was like, okay, I'll sleep on it. Get a good night's rest, which, by the way, wasn't a great night's rest because I dreamed about the game. But I woke up and I was like, okay, now let's do the video. And now that my internet is back up, I'm pretty sure we should be good to go. The video should get out a little bit quicker today. So, yeah, we got a lot of things to talk about. Let's get it started.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Welcome everybody to another video. Glad you guys are here, and man, we got a handful to talk about today. A lot of things I want to discuss in this video. I am a little bit calmer. You know, yesterday I was a little bit crazy. So if y'all saw me, like, man, who is this guy? Yeah. Hey, when it's Lions games, man, I don't play. I'm just saying, man, I lose it sometimes. You know, this is my team. I love this team. So I can get a little crazy, you know, game time. I won't lie. Ain't gonna lie. Like, I was fine until the fourth quarter. Then, you know, then the train kind of fell up the tracks, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna lose it. So yeah, honestly though, I feel like that's still an improvement from what it used to be in the past. It used to get bad. But anyways, let's discuss this game. First and foremost, Stafford's health. I really don't know at this point how people can question him. Look, Stafford he's the definition of a warrior. I think that's what Taylor Decker said. But I mean, this guy just plays his heart out. I don't know if I have seen another player in the NFL like this, where he just plays through literally everything. I mean, he gives it his everything. Is he perfect? No. But man, it's just like, dude, you can see it. I don't know if I've ever seen him in that much pain since like the Browns game when they showed that clip where they scored. I mean, he looked like he was crying on the sideline. Stafford, he just gives it everything he's got. And the update we got this morning, as much as I'm not surprised, I'm still upset. And it says that Stafford is in unbelievable pain right now. It's still too early to call if he broke anything, you know, what's going on with his ribs. They did the x-rays, but they don't have a clear diagnosis yet. He is in unbelievable pain. And, you know, I think we saw that yesterday. He was in unbelievable pain. We saw him go out there into the locker room. He came back out, he threw a couple passes, and they took him back again. It was like, no, it can't happen. And they let Chase Daniel finish off that game. And, man, I mean, I still wouldn't doubt that they would have put him back out there if they had a chance down one score to go tie the game. I just wouldn't doubt it because I wouldn't doubt that he would say, you know what, give me the ball. I can throw it. And even if he couldn't have thrown it, he would have still went out there. I have seen too many articles today talking about if this is his last game. You guys know my thoughts. I don't think it will be his last game unless he wants out of Detroit. But man, I hope he's not. I hope he's not gone. I'll just keep it like that, man. This guy he's just incredible for the Lions. In terms of that, I hope he's okay. I don't know if he's going to play again this season. I don't know. And we'll talk about why I think that's a big deal for Stafford and also for some other guys on this team. But let's set the stage really quickly of what the Lions were going against. Now, I know everybody has injuries, but these aren't excuses. This is setting the stage. This is telling you what the Lions were rolling into coming into this game and why kind of the expectations were what they were. So let's set the stage. Defensively is where we really got to focus. Lions are coming in. Sure, they're at home. But they're facing, you could say, the best offense or the second best offense in the league that really doesn't have any kind of major injuries whatsoever. I mean, they got Tyler Ervin. He is out. Okay, yeah, their third string running back. He's out. That's tough. You know, A.J. Dillon, he just got activated off of COVID. Okay, so they're missing a little bit there, and they're missing like their fifth string wide receiver and a tight end. They're missing a few pieces, but for the most part, I mean, they're healthy. The offensive line is good to go. They are a healthy team heading into this game. Meanwhile, the Lions defense, not very good. They were allowing the second most points per game heading into this game. They gave up 23 points in the first half to Chicago, which, by the way, may not be that crazy because the Chicago Bears just blew out the Texans, which is nuts. But we gave up a pretty good amount of points. The Rich get a great game against us, and I'm coming to this one saying, wow, this could get really bad. I am just hoping that they do enough to keep this thing competitive. I'm hoping maybe they force a turnover, give our offense one more shot at a possession because I really don't know how we're going to slow them down. I mean, realistically, I'm just hoping we can force a turnover because I just don't see a scenario where this defense is going to have a chance to slow them down. Because look, even when this defense is fully healthy, they're going to struggle against this team, no question. But this team's injury, setting the stage, their defensive line was Deshaun Hand, Romeo Okwara, John Pennicini, and Nick Williams. Not terrible, but it's not a it's not a great defensive line. That's not a defensive line that's going to get you pressure. Shanahan doesn't get that much pressure. Romeo Okwara can get pressure, but he has no one taking pressure off of him. John Benicini is a run stuffer. Nick Williams, he needs help as well. That's another guy that needs some help. I mean, the defensive line was extremely depleted. You're missing Danny Shelton, Trey Flowers, and Everson Griffin right before the game we found out. Julian Okwara. You're missing so many guys that were just that were key pieces for you. And that was just a huge letdown because you're coming in and playing a Packers team, and Aaron Rodgers doesn't hold the ball very long. So it made it very difficult for Corey Undlin to blitz. And because of that, with them getting the ball in their hands so quickly that he couldn't bring extra bodies, the front four just never won. And I felt like the coverage on its own, just from the eye test, I felt like they settled in a little bit. I mean, you got to think how slowly we started. Amani gets beat for a big touchdown. I mean, it was a very slow start. Then Amani gets beat in the end zone, and it was like, oh gosh, this is going to be a long day. But they started to settle in a little bit. They got off the field a couple times. They were stopping the run a little bit, and they got him into some third down positions. And you could see they got off the field when it was third and long. That was the biggest thing because we couldn't stop the run. It was a long day. But we were missing injuries in the cornerback room. I mean, you didn't have Desmond Trufant. You didn't have Okuda. And while they haven't had the best again this season, they haven't been the best this season, they're still your top guys. They're still your third pick in the draft, and it's still the guy that you gave $20 million to for 2 years to play the cornerback position. You're still without those guys against, again, a very healthy Packers offense. So you just knew it wasn't going to be great. But I feel like they settled in a little bit, and they kind of exceeded my expectations to a point. I mean, I didn't have very high expectations. Now, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing that this defense is where it is. This defense has to be better for the Lions to be legitimate contenders. But considering the circumstances, they somewhat exceeded my expectations. Now, expectations weren't very high, but I felt like they settled in a little bit. I didn't think it was a very big scheme issue. I just felt like they couldn't get to the quarterback. I mean, there were certain third down or second down, whatever passing down it was, when he would just hold the ball for 5 seconds and no one from that front four could get off. And, they showed that one play, I think that was the third down play, where everybody was just kind of laying on the ground on top of each other and the linemen were just standing here like that. Like, what the heck was that? I mean, that's the kind of what we were dealing with in the front four. You guys, cornerbacks, you can play through that, but you got to get there at some point. Somebody has to get there. I mean, the guy is standing there. He's literally eating lunch while he has the football. It is crazy. And it's like if someone's going to get open. So he was at such a disadvantage in terms of scheme that as me, if I was a play caller, I don't know what I would have done differently. I mean, I would have tried to blitz, but those quick passes would have probably destroyed you. So I don't know what I would have done. There's not a lot of things that you could have done with that group because of the injuries. But I give them credit because the guys that were out there did fight. Now, linebacker group, they need work. No question. When it hits the offseason, they need work. I think aside from Jamie, they need a lot of work. I don't think Collins is that bad. Yeah, he's a little bit older, so you got to make sure you're prepared. But I think Collins is pretty darn solid. But aside from that, you got a lot of questions. And it's going to be pretty depleted after the season anyways, right? You're going to have Jared Davis is probably going to be gone. We'll see what they do with Julian Tavai. There's going to be a lot of question marks in that group specifically. But look, there's a lot of work to do with this defense, no question. But man, were they injured as heck? I mean, that just sets the stage. And with all this, you knew Matthew Stafford was going to have to be really good with this offense. We knew this offense was going to have to be extremely productive to pull off this upset. There's a reason that the Packers were given an 80% chance to win. There's a reason the spread was over a touchdown on the road in a divisional game because they just knew it was going to be extremely difficult for the Lions to keep this thing competitive. And when you look at the Lions' offense, it had to be that they could be very balanced. They had to be balanced because if you're not balanced against the Packers team, we saw it last time we played them, they will destroy you because they'll get to the quarterback. They are built to play with the lead. They have good enough corners, they have good enough secondary, and they have pass rushers. They don't stop the run very well, but they are built to play with the lead. And that's why no one really has many rushing attempts against them because once they get the lead, you are in trouble. And again, the Lions faced that in this game. And the Lions, they couldn't even run the ball when they tried to. I mean, Swift averaged 3.4 yards per carry. That was your best. Adrian Peterson averaged 1.8. Kerryon Johnson, 1.5. Stafford averaged 6. You couldn't even run the ball. So the one thing that they didn't do well, you couldn't do. The one thing that they struggled with a little bit was stopping the run. You couldn't run the football. Now, the Lions offensively, no Kenny Galladay. We've seen that for a while now. You're on your third string right tackle, which really just showed up in pass rush. But you are dealing with all of this. You're not running the ball well. You have tons of injuries. And then let's just quickly touch on it, man. None of the calls at the end of the game that you needed went your way. I mean, everybody knew Marvin Jones caught the football. At first, I didn't think he did, but then I looked at it and I'm like, oh, wow, he actually did catch it. And Marvin Jones said he knew he caught it. He said the rest, even some rest told him he caught it, and they called it incomplete, which honestly, I mean, it doesn't seem like a big deal because we still went down and scored. But as much as, it just drives me nuts to think that if that wasn't called, Matthew Stafford maybe doesn't get injured because it rolls off a couple more minutes of the clock. Maybe we get another opportunity at the end of the game, and Matthew Stafford, maybe he's not hurt. And that's just the kind of domino effect that's unfortunate. I don't want to throw it on that call, but I mean, wow. The Lions, I was proud of my team. I was so proud of the Lions in this game. An unmanned team that was expected to basically have no shot in this game. They went out and they fought. And they fought. And they kept fighting. And players would get injured and they would come back. And they just kept fighting. Matthew Stafford did what Matthew Stafford does. He just plays through an extreme amount of pain. He already came in with the right thumb injury, but he came in with some pain and he just played through it even again. He played through it with no rushing attack consistency. And he played a heck of a game. He played a really good game. These last two games against the Bears and Packers are the best two games Stafford has played this season. You can't change my mind on that. Because I have just seen a Matthew Stafford these last two games where it takes me back to the vintage Matthew Stafford. I'm saying to myself, oh yeah, we got a chance with number 9. You weren't really saying that earlier this season, but now you're saying that again. This team fought. They played so hard for Darrell Bevell, and I'm proud of what they did. Extremely unmanned. Knowing that the odds were all against you, your back was completely against the wall. When you heard the Everson Griffin news, it was like, what? Right before the game? Really? On Saturday? We got to hear this? But they fought, and they fought, and they fought. Now, here's the problem. I'm worried about what DoseOfDion said. He makes a good point. I'm worried about the whole Stafford situation, obviously for his health, but also for Darrell Bevell. Because I think what I've seen from Darrell Bevell, and I know everybody keeps bringing up new regime, but the truth is he's interviewing right now for a job. And I know wins and losses, he's 1-1, but I think you also have to make sure that you're looking at deeper than that. Look at the numbers, look at that, sure. But keep in mind, this is a team he's inheriting. He did have some say over the offense, but he's inheriting this team as a head coach for the last 2 games, playing basically 5 playoff teams. In the last 5 games, 5 playoff teams. And the last time we played Green Bay, it wasn't competitive. Your 4 of your last 5 games with Patricia, you were beat by double digits. The team gave up in those games. There was no question about it. When you don't score versus a bad team, you're giving up. All right, that's something that we haven't done since 2009. You gave up in that game. When you have 3 straight fumbles, that is mental, that is giving up, that's not being in the game. When Darrell Bevell stepped in as their head coach, these guys were locked in. They were having fun. They were playing, like Darrell Bevell said, like they were, kids again. That's how they were playing. And they went and they never stopped believing. And they just believed they could beat the Bears, and they did. And they never stopped believing in this Packer game. They just were unmanned to the point where they didn't have enough to get over all of the things that just didn't go their way down the stretch. I mean, all of the swing plays that you need, you just weren't able to get them. Think about it. You weren't able to get the toe touch catch. You had Matthew Stafford get injured. You're extremely unmanned, which we talked about, but none of those swing plays were your way. This catch didn't go your way. The onside, which I thought he clearly recovered, that didn't go your way. Mason Crosby knocked through a 58-yard field goal. Come on, that's crossbar. He struggled in Detroit, and that's through a 58-yard field goal off a false. You could have easily missed that. He knocks it through, and if he misses that, you're at midfield, down by 7. You got time to go score. Maybe it's Daniel, but either way, you still got a chance. That was the thing, is that none of those swing plays were able to go our way. But this team played down to the wire with this team. They played toe-to-toe with a team that has an MVP for a quarterback. He's an MVP candidate. You might just go win it after Mahomes' performance. You're playing one of the best offenses in the league. You're playing a team that now has already 10 wins on the season. They have now clinched the NFC North. And you played them like this. After what I saw the first time we played them, to me, I was just so proud of my team in this game. I was extremely proud. Because they just kept coming at him and coming at him. The fact that they were tied at halftime after the first couple series was like, wow, how did this happen? They just kept coming and coming and coming. And anybody from the eye test can tell you that this team does not look the same as it did in the past. Now, the biggest question for me will be this. How will this team respond with potentially no Matthew Stafford, which is huge, and coming off a loss? How will they respond? How will they play for Darrell Bevell? Because 2 games in, they've responded. Now what will they look like? That's what the eye test has told me. I know the numbers haven't looked great defensively, but the eye test tells me that they have bought in, they've believed. Now what will that look like in a 3rd game? Now potentially without a Matthew Stafford, potentially obviously coming off a loss. What will that team respond like? Matthew Stafford, he's responded to the coaching change. He's looked really good. He's played his butt off for this team, and that's never changed. He's always done that. But he's looked much better. It's letting Stafford cook. That's what you see. And Stafford's cooking. He's rolling around. He's throwing passes. It's like, wow, I missed this. You got Matthew Stafford playing at an extremely high level, doing everything he can with no running game, once again, with the defense that just cannot get off the field. I mean, think about it. Your third quarter, you had the ball for like a minute. In the third quarter, that's tough. There's not a lot you can do with that. We had some 3-and-outs that killed us. We had to be perfect offensively. We weren't. But I do like the team had heart today. The team had heart in this game. They just kept fighting and fighting. And that's the thing. When you play a team like Green Bay and you're a man, that's all you can ask for is a chance. All I can ask for is that my team has an opportunity at the end of the game to still win. Is that all my team needs is one of these swing plays to go my way and we could potentially still win this football game somehow, some way. Early in the season, we didn't have that opportunity. It was just up, game's over. We saw a team give up for the last 5 games. This team fought. They just kept coming and coming and coming. And they just gave themselves an opportunity. And if any of those swing plays went their way, maybe the game is different. If Matthew Stafford's healthy, maybe the game is different. But they just kept fighting. And I know everybody wants to talk new regime. But I realistically want to see Darrell Bevell because through 2 games, he's my leading candidate, hands down, no question. Because the team has bought in. Now, they have a lot of work to do in the offseason. They got to continue to build this team. And what will Matthew Stafford's future look like? I don't know what he wants to do. And I think it will ultimately come down to him. I don't think it's going to be Lions want to trade him. It's going to come down to him, in my opinion. There's the money situation. There's not knowing what the money situation will look like next year. Matthew Stafford clearly is playing at a high level with Bevell. What will he want to do? And if Darrell Bevell's here next season, if he gets the job, I could definitely see him saying, well, maybe I do want to stay here again. Maybe I do want to play with this guy again. Because I like this guy. Because it clearly looks like the last 2 games, he likes this guy. He's letting Stafford be Stafford. And it's fun to watch. But I'm proud of my team. I'm proud of what Darrell Bevell was able to bring out of them for at least the second game now. And right now, he's my leading candidate for head coach, no questions asked. I mean, I know we were pushing for these coordinators, but Darrell Bevell's a coordinator. Historically, the most successful coaches in our history were interim head coaches. They stepped in, they took it over, they knew the problems, and they did their thing. The guy that won the playoff game in our playoff era, he was an interim head coach. And for 2 games now, this team has bought into what it is. Now, I don't know if he can build a team. I don't know what he can do. I felt like it's Caldwell. Yeah, the players clearly bought in. They're still talking about him. Were they building anything there? Not really. I mean, we really never improved in any area. We honestly just got worse. But they at least bought in. And for as many people that are going to now again go push for him to bring a head coach again, the fact is the players are doing that again. They're buying in. Now, can they build this offseason? I want to see Darrell Bevell get an offseason with this team. I do. I truly do. From what I've seen from 2 games. How will he motivate them? This is going to be the most difficult thing is to motivate them. A 5-8 team that's still technically alive. I'm not going to get into it because I know people, we're done. Technically you're alive. But without a Matthew coming off a loss, can you motivate this team to go out there and still fight? That's going to be the biggest thing. And it stinks for Bevell because without Stafford, with the 3 teams you're playing, there's a good chance you lose every game out. And they'll look at that and say, you know what? You're not going to be your head coach. You're not going to get that shot. And I get it. 1-4, obviously that's not good enough. But I mean, from 2 games now, this team isn't the same team. This team looks like a competitive team. They're just a few plays away. And you know what? With Matthew, that's what it's been. We're not a great team. We're still not a great team. But with Matthew, we always felt like we had a chance. We feel like that way once again. We feel that way once again, and I love it. And I hope Matthew Stafford's okay. Obviously, Matthew Stafford's just an absolute legend. He's just Matthew Stafford. I just couldn't ask for anything else for a Lions quarterback. But I mean, wow. I'm proud of my team. Right now, Darrell Bevell to me is my leading candidate. I'm proud of what they were able to do in this game. They lost. They came short. They just couldn't get one of those swing plays to go their way. You know what? That's football. I'd love to see 16 games this season. Redo the season with Bevell as my head coach. I'd love to see it. Because now it's do or die. But it wasn't like that week 1. So what is the difference? Does this team win certain games that maybe they wouldn't have with Matt Patricia? And this isn't anything against Patricia. It's just the simple fact of this team doesn't look the same with Darrell Bevell. They look better. They look engaged. They didn't give up. They're still fighting. Now that question will be answered next week. It will be. It will be straight up answered. Will they continue to fight? Will they win? That's not fighting. Fighting to me doesn't equal win. They fought in this game against Packers. They didn't win, but they played their butts off. You knew they were going after it. They were going to give 110%. They were going to go in there unmanned. They were going to play without a Stafford. They were going to give it 110% to try to find a way to win this game. To just find a way with Bevell to win this game. And that's what I hope we see from the rest of the season out. I haven't been this proud of my team after a game in a long time, and especially after a loss. So, yeah, those are my initial reactions. We'll do a lot more videos today, but that's just where I'm at. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.